Chase Schurga is truly a modern-day Renaissance man, skilled in a variety of areas. He embodies entrepreneurship and innovation, setting a standard for others to follow. From creating a thriving YouTube channel with 80K subscribers at 15 years old in 2009, to engaging in car sales, ATM services, and hosting the Choo Choo podcast, Chase demonstrates a remarkable balance of talents. Join us as we explore the deeper aspects of Chase's character that enable him to consistently operate at such a high level day in and day out. This is Gino Brancotti here with another episode of Cutting Edge Podcast, live from Broadway Barber Lounge. All right, let's get you kicked up, bro.
Superman, baby.
I finally get to interview you.
I know, it's nuts.
You spend so much time interviewing me.
Bro, I've been podcasting for 4 years and I've never been on someone else's podcast before.
Really? This is your first time on someone else's podcast?
It's my podcast virginity, bud.
That's crazy. Oh, well, I'm happy I can take that for you.
Oh, me too. There's no one else I'd rather have do it.
To pop your cherry?
Yeah, my friend and my barber.
Welcome to the Cutting Edge Podcast. Today I have my good friend here, Chase. He is a multi-skilled man. He's a car salesman. He's the ATM man.
That's true.
He is the Garage Boozing Now Choo Choo podcast host.
Yep, rebrand.
What else, bro? Like, I feel like there's more that.
Former class clown. I'd love to put that one out there.
Former class clown, okay.
If you know me, see, I already made you laugh. There we go. Former class clown.
So expect to laugh in this. Now the pressure's on, bro. You gotta make everybody laugh.
Yeah, is there anything I can't say, or can I just go?
No, this is.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, it's cutting edge, bro. So we're cutting all the edges. And
Love the name.
Yeah, you've been getting your hair cut by me for 8 years now. As long as I've been a barber.
Crazy.
Crazy to think of. And when you first started, you did not have all this.
I know.
All this hair up top. What made you want to start growing out this hair, bro?
So, as you know, I'm a wrestling fan, right? Been a wrestling fan my entire life. And by the way, I just want to say, like, I don't love having long hair. I don't love it at all. It's actually a real big pain in the ass. But the reason I do it is because being a wrestling fan, I was watching Monday Night Raw one night, and they had this kid on there who they were doing like this cancer charity event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was a really young kid. His name is Connor the Crusher, and he had a bunch of different wigs that he had, and every wig he put on, he was a different wrestling character, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was mad cool. He'd be Connor the Crusher, and he had one wig on, a different wig would make him somebody else, and I was like, wow. I was like, that'd actually be kind of cool. So I just started growing my hair out, donating it, never looked back. So
That's sweet.
It's for the kids, man. All for the kids.
So when you donated, do you cut it all off, or do you start growing again, or do you just chop a good amount that you can still bun it up?
So I usually cut it all off, but the last time I donated, which was 2 years ago from this coming July, I kept it a little bit long just because I was used to it.
Right.
But I think when I cut it this July, I'm going to go short again.
Nice. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah, it's awesome. If I keep drinking, I might get in my feels.
Right.
So let's see how it goes.
All right. So what do you want to do with your hair today before we get started with the podcast and everything?
You know, it's funny. You always ask me this every time I sit in the chair, and I'm always like, Gino, what do you think? You're the expert.
Yeah.
You tell me how to look good. So, I mean, I think obviously my beard needs some work. Here, look at this.
Right.
This thing's getting dirty, but this is long overdue on the sides too. But I don't know. What'd you do last time?
I did tapers. I tapered here, tapered the back. We did like a 1.5 around up to where the man bun comes up, and then for the beard, I usually beard taper it in, line up nice and high.
Oh, the beard always looks good. Like, whatever you did last time in my head looked great too. But this is why I have a barber, because you're like taper. I don't even know what the hell that means.
Right. Fair enough.
That's Chinese to me, bro.
Word.
One time when I had really short hair, I tried to shave it myself. Dude, I missed so many spots. It was so bad.
Was that when you were in high school? Or?
Oh yeah, back in high school. Because back in high school, I did dude, I never actually got like a real haircut until I came to you. Okay. So like before that, like I was going to like I don't know, like a hair studio 1 or something like that, like a little plaza, and just have them shave it or buzz it with like a 1 or a 2. That's all I needed. You know, I never got like a fade or anything like that until I met you. So.
Right, and as we were saying, back when you first started coming to me, you had a fade with a hard part and a comb over.
Yeah, the hard part was big.
That was the 2018 cut.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the actor, bro. You kind of had his hair though, and it's not. I don't know why. Christopher Reeves is coming to mind, but it's not Christopher Reeves.
Say, who the fuck is Christopher Reeves? Can I swear?
Yeah, I swear. I have no idea Christopher Reeves is Superman, right? He was Superman.
Was that Christopher Reeves?
Didn't he have like that long, or no, like the John Wick almost? Who played
John Wick?
Who played John Wick?
Keanu Reeves.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was something.
That's
Keanu
a compliment right there. That's a compliment.
I think you got kind
Try
of.
to shoot me, I'll be like.
Yeah. You better watch out for this guy.
Yeah, right? Oh, that's cool.
So, as we said, during like your main job during the day, you're a car salesman.
Yep.
When did you start doing that?
I just hit 5 years back in February.
Okay.
So before that, I was selling cell phones at Verizon.
Yeah, and what kind of got you into the sales route?
Like car sales or like
just sales?
in
I mean,
general?
well, you said you did sales at Verizon before,
Yeah.
so it's kind of not selling the same product, but along
Still
the same
sales, yeah.
industry.
So basically, I was in college at the time at Adirondack, as they call it now, and I was working in Hannaford, which is a local grocery store here in upstate New York. And my job was to come in at 4 in the morning and put apples on the shelves and feel out the apples, see the ones that are rotten, throw them away. Anyway, I was making like $8.50 an hour, right? And I was at the Aviation Mall one day walking through, and I walked past the Verizon store, and I saw this kid I went to high school with, and he's wearing a suit and stuff. And I go, whoa! I go, shout out Brandon Eastman. I go, that's Brandon Eastman. He's wearing a suit, it looks good. I'm like, damn. So I didn't know you had to wear suits to sell phones. I'm like, what's going on in there? So long story short, I sent him a message on Facebook, and I go, hey dude, like I just walked by your store, and you look really good, and you look kind of cool. Like, what do you do? And he goes, oh dude, actually I think you'd be perfect for this job. Come on in, I'll show you how much we make, blah blah blah. Show you like the thing, and if you're interested, I can get you an interview. Never looked back. I stopped him one day. He showed me his 1 month's pay, and I was like, wow, this is way better than $8.50 an hour.
Right.
So I ended up dropping out of college, which I don't regret. I'm very happy I did that. But I mean, listen, hey, college is great for a lot of people, but it's not great for everybody. So.
Right, and unfortunately, they don't really show us much other avenues.
No, they don't.
In high school anymore,
Dude, I was just talking about this with a buddy of mine the other day, man. Like you go to high school, they don't teach you like actual like life skills, like sales, for example, or like budgeting money, or like how to write a check, or like just people skills in general. It's all stuff by the book, which is where I think our school system is like starting to fail in a way. Because dude, like now more than ever, we're learning that you don't need college. Some people do, like you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, stuff like that. Definitely go to school. Obviously, you need to.
Right.
But like, it's not an absolute requirement. Like, we were born to think, Like when I first dropped out of college, dude, I was scared as fuck. I was like, okay, I got the sales job right now. Let's see how long this lasts. But then again, I was also going to college for criminal justice. Bro, imagine me being a cop and pulling your ass over.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Honestly, that might be a nice get out of jail free card.
Literally,
in the back pocket, though, right?
And bro, the thing is too is like like I know a ton of people in this area, like from my old house parties and shit that I was having all the time. Like,
you should throw the craziest house parties.
dude, they were wild every weekend, man. I bought my house at 22 years old and had it destroyed by 24.
R.I.P. the 518 Project X.
Yeah.
And our livers.
Bro, you were walking into those parties and it was bumper to bumper in there. It was
bro. Honestly, your neighbors, bro. Shout out Chase's neighbors, man.
For not calling the cops.
For not calling the cops and not writing like the mayor a petition to get Chase out of town. He used to throw the bangers at his house.
Yeah, I actually got a real bad story. I'm getting sidetracked here. I'm sorry, but
no, you're good, man. You're good.
One of like the first parties I threw before I got an actual routine of it, because I think it was like one of the first like 2 or 3 parties. People were out in my backyard and throwing beer cans over my fence into my neighbor's yard. So my neighbor came over and was like really upset. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. So people came over the next time. I'm like, hey, don't do that. But I was so scared that I was gonna get in trouble. So I waited like 2 weeks to throw another party, and then I typed out a letter at Staples because I didn't have a printer at the time. And I printed out like 20 copies of this letter and dropped it off in all my neighbors' mailboxes. And I was like, hey, a friend of mine is coming home from the military, and we're having a welcome home from the military party, so if it gets too loud, here's my phone number, just call me, text me. That was a lie. My friend was not coming home from the military, which is such a shitty asshole thing to do, but whatever.
It was a sucker story, though, right?
It works.
Like, you can't be mad at the guy that's having a party to come home and celebrate a veteran or someone serving.
Right, so after that, I was just like, all right, fuck it, every weekend. Hey, what are you doing on Saturday night? Going to Chase's house. Yeah, so where did we start with this though? I got sidetracked. Where was it?
I was just asking you how you got into sales. And what I was going to add was, I feel like you getting into sales is exactly the perfect avenue for you.
Oh, for sure.
You know, not to say that your life's purpose is to sell cars, but I remember ever since I knew you since I was young, Chase had his own YouTube channel that blew up on YouTube when we were kids before, like, these, I don't know, the way the internet world is now really was developed. Imagine the opportunities, the money you would have been offered, the real estate money and stuff, if you got that opportunity back then.
So to play off what he's saying, I had a YouTube channel that was called Copy and Chase. It was a play off like copy and paste, but Chase, I was like, oh, it kind of rhymes and paste. I don't know. Anyway, started making YouTube videos actually with my friend Riley in like 2006, 2007 when we were in middle school. That was a channel called Small and Large. And then I got pissed off at Riley because I was doing all the video editing and stuff like that, and he was just there for the videos. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go out on my own. So I made Copy and Chase, instantly blows up, and at my prime, this was like 2009, I'm like, fuck, how old was I? 16 years old. And I got partnered on YouTube, which means you start getting paid on YouTube for like them posting ads and stuff on your videos. And then at my absolute peak, I had 80,000 subscribers on YouTube. Wow. And this was back before YouTube is what YouTube is now. Like you see like what Mr. Beast having like 100 million subscribers. Like the most subscribed was Smosh with like 2 million. So like,
but that's still like,
I was in the top 100, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's massive too for what, like, you said you were what, like 12 years old?
Well, when I started getting paid, I was 16. So,
16?
Yeah, 16 years old. And like, dude, that's like when I first started smoking weed too, right? So I'm blowing my YouTube checks buying bongs and stuff, and I'm becoming a real big pothead. And I honestly, like, I love weed as much as the next guy, don't get me wrong. But I do think that my ways back then, because I was getting high all day, every day, that definitely made me more lazy, and then I kind of gave up on the YouTube thing for a while and just let it go.
Yeah.
Bro, if I just kept it going, the opportunities I would have had would have been insane. And even Vine, man. Like when Vine came out, all my friends were like, dude, you're perfect for Vine. You should make Vines. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I don't know. That's another train I missed. So 10 years later, after I stopped making YouTube videos, I revamped it to my previous podcast, the Garage Boozing Podcast. So I just redesigned the whole channel and everything like that. And I still had like 30,000 subscribers there, which kind of helps. Which I still have now. I redid the Garage Boozing Podcast, rebranded it to the Choo Choo Podcast.
Shout out Choo Choo Podcast.
Shout out Choo Choo Podcast. And people ask me, why'd you go with the name Choo Choo? Well, my nickname for the longest time has been the Schurga Express, because everybody wants a one-way ride on the Schurga Express. There's no refunds, so that's where that name came from. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. Got into the podcast game. I'm still content creating. It feels good to be back, and it's good. It's fun.
Yeah, I think that's a really like admirable thing too, that like you started doing that podcast and, well, should I say YouTube channel at such a young age, because I feel like now it's more the norm for kids to start doing that, but back then it wasn't. And I mean, we didn't go to the same high school, but I'm sure you received some hate from some of your friends.
Bro,
I would picked on you and whatnot.
So much. I used to get so fucking ridiculed making YouTube videos, and that's another one of the reasons why I stopped, because I was just letting everybody get in my head all the shit. Like I'd walk into Hannaford and people would be like, "Hey, there's the YouTube kid," and I'd be so embarrassed. And like, now I look back and I mean, dude, like, if I knew then what I know now, like, fuck what people think, bro. You know, like, if you're doing something that you enjoy, it's a hobby. It's not like I'm out there doing drugs, doing bad shit. I'm just in my house, like, making YouTube videos. Like, it was so fun. And the fact that I let, like, people's opinions and stuff get in the way of that was shitty. But
yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask that, because, you know, I didn't really know your whole story when it came then. We became better friends once we were out of school.
Yeah.
But I do know what it's like to go to school, especially in the times that we went when social media started to become a big thing. And that's when you started to kind of make life decisions based around like, well, what are people online going to think about this? And just because you were doing something that was successful doesn't mean that it doesn't come with hate from other people.
That's the thing, dude. I log online and I have like all these comments from all these people all over the world that love my shit. But in real life, I'd be at school and people would just be making fun of me for making YouTube videos and stuff. And it takes a toll on you when you're young. Because like, you don't really build up a huge self-esteem until you're older and actually understand, like, you know, that it doesn't matter what people think as long as you're doing your thing and like crushing it. So that's why, like, one of my biggest regrets always will be letting that get in my head, and then also, again, back to the weed thing, not to blame weed, but I would just much rather get high, and I got lazy and just didn't want to make videos and stuff, and like, I don't know. But definitely the shit from other people definitely had a big toll on it too.
Yeah, and I think that's a great message to, any kids or just anyone that's really in the position where they might be in the middle of creating something or venturing out to try something new that they're afraid of backlash and of judgment of that. Really, look at what that could have held you from. I mean, not to say that we're not happy with our lives or happy where you're at now, but
sure.
If you stuck with that, you could have been the next Nelk Boys before the Nelk Boys. Or
I could have been Logan Paul before Logan Paul.
Exactly,
bro,
exactly. And,
I could have been boxing Floyd Mayweather, bro.
Right, so
if
you had any advice that you would want to give a 16-year-old kid that was in the position that you were in, someone who was passionate about something, maybe a little different than everyone else, but had something special, what would you tell that kid?
That's a very easy answer. If you're afraid to jump, jump. Jump head first. Fucking go for it. Because success starts outside of your comfort zone, and that's one thing that I did not understand in my teenage years.
Right, and if I would like to touch on that, what I would like to tell the young kid in that position would be, well, I got that.
Yeah, thank you. You saw me reaching for it.
Would be, you're gonna receive hate no matter what. You're gonna receive opinions of people, but if you truly love something, you're passionate about it, then it's something that you should do because that, like, when you have that feeling inside you, and it's like God's purpose or God's plan, when you're doing something and it just feels right and you feel inspired, you feel motivated, and I feel like the biggest, or I should say the saddest thing in life is wasted potential or a waste of God's talent. I think we're all here to walk certain things and inspire people in certain ways, and sometimes people's opinions can repress that in the world that we live in nowadays. So imagine a world where everybody just built one another up, and we would see truly the beauty and creativity that each person has. And yeah, man, that would be my advice would be, not to listen to the noise, because high school is such a small window of your life, right? Like,
sure.
Like it feels like everything in the moment, right? And it feels like it's so long, but now we've been out of school for 10 years, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And what you did then really doesn't matter. So, if that is something that you're dealing with, just know that in the grand scheme of the things, those people that are probably saying stuff about you are the people that are jealous and envious that, they can't take that leap of faith, that step that you talked about.
Absolutely. I was a victim of that myself. And also, like, to play off that too, it's just like, the world we live in, man, is just so negative. So fucking negative. And it's sad because, like, it'd be cool if, like what you said, if we just lived in a world where everybody built everybody up. But at the same time, I feel like we need some negativity to build and grow, like...
Right. The, yin and yang is a true thing, like good and bad. They do balance one another.
Yeah, and it sounds so shitty to say this, but, like, I almost think, like, in a way, I think bullying's kind of a good thing.
You do.
I know, that's kind of like a left field thing to say, but I'll say it only because I think it makes people stronger. Like, I'm not saying, like, absolute, like, I don't even know how to backtrack on that. Like, I think bullying's good to a degree just because it makes people stronger. Because if we were in a world where it was all positive, nothing but positivity, and we all built each other up, I mean, there's going to be that one bad egg. The devil's the devil. The devil's here. Like, the devil's not gone.
Yeah.
And the devil thrives off of negativity and pain and stuff like that, but that only makes somebody like you or I or anybody listening to this stronger. Maybe not at the time, but after time heals all wounds,
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is there is a blessing in disguise. I think it goes both ways, I think that there's people that get fueled by hate and find a way to turn that negativity into something positive. But then there's also those kids out there that, they may take their own life. I don't know how we got there in this podcast, but
no, for sure.
there's our two sides to the coin, and I think that anyone taking this could take it from any perspective. But I do see what you're saying, and in a way, like, hate and somebody telling you can't do something, you shouldn't do it, can drive you to want to do that.
And how good are you gonna feel when you say, "Ha, fuck you, I did it," you know?
Facts, right? So if you can use that as motivation, then that's a great way to transmute that energy that you're receiving from other people. And obviously, if that isn't the easiest thing for you to do, then just remember that there's hope on the other side, and usually those people that are hating on you, they're dealing with their own issues too inside.
Absolutely.
And keep rocking, kid.
A lot of hate comes from jealousy, man.
Right, and I notice. I mean, even myself, bro. Like, I'll see someone doing something that I would never be man enough to do or think to do, and I might subconsciously first, in my ego, be like, "Oh man, screw him,"
Yeah.
That, and then you sit there and really think about it, and you're like, "Man, I'm just kind of really like that because what he's doing is actually pretty dope." And
I didn't do that first.
I didn't think to do that before him, or
sure.
He's not cool enough to be doing that, but at the end of the day, bro, I think that's our ego as human beings,
And I think a lot of that goes away too as you get older, because at the age we're at now, I don't look at a lot of stuff like that and be like, "Oh wow, that's lame," But back in my high school years, I'd be like, "Ha ha ha, what a loser," just because I was jealous that he didn't do that, and that's just, I don't know. I was a kid, my brain wasn't fully developed. I didn't understand actual life. I thought high school was life, and then you get out of high school and you grow up and you're like, "Wow, welcome to the real world."
Right, and that's called maturity, and that's called growth,
Absolutely. And you don't get a lot of that until after those years.
Right. Well, school is really around cliques and fitting in and stuff. Where once you get out into the real world, it's all about being who you actually really want to be. You kind of have that opportunity. You see a lot of kids, and that's where I think college can be great for some kids because they get away.
Absolutely.
And something that I feel keeps coming back in this conversation is judgment in a small town or an area you're in. If where we live, we graduated in my class 150 kids. There wasn't a lot of people in the school, and you hear everyone's opinions and stuff. So this big world seems so small, but it's really this massive world out there. So I would say other advice, not go to college necessarily, but get out there, go see things. That would be my biggest regret, was that at 18 I stayed here. Yeah, I didn't go move somewhere and go see what it was like in a different place, in a different scheme, different culture, and see how I blended in as a person.
See, I was gonna say the same thing too, because in the beginning here, I was like, "Oh, not everybody needs college and stuff like that." Some people do, but one of my biggest regrets is the fact that I didn't go out and get that college experience, because where we're from here, Gino, we have such a small crowd of people. Sure, we might have a bunch of different towns around here, but for the most part, a lot of people know the same people, whether you're from Southwest Falls, Glens Falls, Hudson Falls, Fort Edward, Queensbury, everybody knows everybody to an extent. So if I could, actually the only college I got accepted to that I applied to was Cortland. And I was gonna go to Cortland, but then I had a girlfriend here who was still in high school at the time, so I stayed behind to stay with her. But I do think that, because if it wasn't for that, I would have got my job at Verizon. I would have been
right. You wouldn't be
where I am right now. Right.
We wouldn't be here having this conversation.
Right. But having the college experience, going out, not knowing anybody, and having people know me for me and not from my social standpoint or school and stuff, that would have been cool and that would have been interesting. So that's something I would have liked to explore. But at the same time, I'm happy for who I am and where I'm at today.
Fire. Trip. I said something on this trip is going to change my life. Something is going to change things for me. And I was there and I kept meditating and praying on it. And I saw one of my sponsors, the guy who owns Slicker, shout out Tyler Tracy. Tyler kept reading and meditating every morning. I go there and I see he'd go out with his book and he'd read and he'd meditate. And I always loved the way that he carried himself with a sense of peace and calm and just an unsaid charisma. And when you see someone that you idolize, or you idolize the way that they move and stuff, that'll inspire you to act a certain way. So I said, all right, when we go to this bookstore, my soul's going to find the perfect book for me. Long story short, I walked around, couldn't find anything, and then I just went to this one section, And in my meditations leading up to it, I kept seeing like blue in it, or like a blue fire or whatnot, and I thought it like represented my son, like boy, the color blue and whatnot. And I found this book, and it said "Awaken Your Inner Fire," and the fire was blue. And I read that book, and within the first 2 chapters, same thing as you, it rewoke. Because this is the thing, like that energy is always in you, you know, but your ex-girlfriend killed it. She destroyed it, just like the world will, just like the world did when you were ready to take off with your YouTube channel and with your Vine and stuff. The world killed it. They broke your soul down, and that light was in darkness and it couldn't shine. And then you watched that YouTube video, and I read that book, and it was like someone just relit the flame.
Absolutely.
And the flame can grow bigger and bigger and bigger the more you nurture that flame, and literature is a great way to do that. So I started reading that book, and that ultimately led me back to my relationship with Christ and with God, you know. And for me, you know, that's different for everyone. Before that, I was a very spiritual person, and I think they all go hand in hand, you know, like God and spirituality to me are quite frankly the same thing. That feeling that you get when you meditate, or like we said, when something feels right, or when your fire gets lit back up, I believe that is our Holy Spirit, you know, and that's what drives every human being. Without that, then we're just robots walking around doing commands. But that's what truly ignites that spark in us, that makes me want to get up and cut hair and have these conversations with people like you, and impact my life and impact yours. And that's what makes you want to have these great conversations and seal these deals, etc., and go on the pod and bring on these interesting and culturalized people and stuff. So yeah, bro, I feel like that's within all of us. And if you are feeling depressed, you are feeling down, you're feeling sad, you're heartbroken, you need to find that thing that relights your ignition.
Talk to somebody too, because a lot of people don't like to talk when they're upset. I promise you it helps.
Yeah, facts. It definitely does. I did. Have you ever done therapy? You ever worked with like a therapist before?
I did an online therapist last year, and it was actually 2 years ago. It was during COVID, so like there was no like in-person things. But I never did therapy before, and I wanted to try it. So I did it one time, and I liked it. But I always wanted the experience of actually doing it in person and like laying in the chair and like having somebody there. But no, it definitely
laying in the chair.
Laying in the chair.
I've yet to meet a therapist that actually lays me back in the chair.
You don't lay in the chair? Is that just in the movies?
No, that's just in the movies. Bro.
No,
I swear to God. I mean, they got couches and shit, but like, what? Yeah, I never felt comfortable to like sprawl out on the couch and be like,
oh fuck it, I'll stick to Zoom then. I thought I could lay out and relax.
I mean, you definitely can, bro. Like my therapist has a few recliners in there that you can use, but I usually just sit in it. For me, I get like real anxious. I'm talking about my problems, so like I'll be leaning forward, knees shaking and stuff, you know. But I think therapy is a golden thing for anyone, bro, whether you've been through trauma or not.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
But, you know, aside from therapy, you know what, I find therapy is great for people that have been through trauma. I know that kind of sounds like I'm backtracking a little bit, but what I would recommend more to somebody in a position like you and I are in right now, maybe you don't quite need therapy, you've worked through a lot of that inner work and you know your direction, but you just need like that person to keep it a buck with you, keep it 100, and my opinion is a life coach. Like that changed my life. Like I've worked with a therapist since I was 18, and I still have anxiety to this day. Anxiety isn't going anywhere, bro. You have to make anxiety your friend. You have to make that, you know, the thing that drives you at the end of the day. But one thing that when I started working with a life coach, it was more proactive. It was like, okay, let's not try to prevent the fact that you have anxiety and say, okay, I have anxiety. Now, what steps can I take to dissipate that, or to eliminate that anxiety, or to make this easier, you know? And then as you start leveling up, you're naturally going to feel more at peace with yourself.
Oh, for sure.
The more you're doing, the more good you're doing, the more at peace you're going to feel with yourself. So for me, a life coach was very key. It was essential for me.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Good for you. And to play off what you said a little bit before too about everybody having that spark and that fire inside them, you just gotta find a way to unlock it, because everybody's got it. It's in you, man. You might not think it is, but it's there. It's inside you. You just gotta find what it's gonna. You gotta find basically like the master key to unlock that shit and let that shit out.
So do you have any advice for anyone other than The Secret or other than literature? Like, was there any other things that you felt like really helped you on your journey to get to where you are today, or would you say?
I wish I had a better answer for that, but I've always been the type of person where like that was really the only time in my life, like speaking about that ex-girlfriend, where like I actually felt like depressed, really sad, and let it like overwhelm me.
Right.
Because other than that, like I'm very blessed to where like I've been a very positive person my entire life. Like you and I have talked about this before on my podcast, but to bring it up on yours, like I've never really dealt other than that first breakup. I mean, everyone's first breakup is like life-changing and life-ruining. So
Right. Yeah.
Everybody gets that, but other than that, like I've never really felt like major depression, major anxiety. I'm not a very anxious person, but I'll tell you, when I do get anxious, I'm anxious as fuck because I don't deal with it often, so I don't know how to deal with it. It's foreign, and it feels like so much weight on my shoulders. But
well, that's a good thing that you don't.
I'm lucky. I'm very blessed.
Right.
Yes. But my only advice would probably be, man, at the end of the day, mind over matter. As cliche as that sounds, man, like your mind is so much stronger, your brain is so much stronger, your inside feelings are so much stronger than you really think they are. But when you can finally realize that and unlock that door, you will be the best version of yourself ever, for sure.
Fire. I appreciate you being like so real with everyone. Like we came on here expected to have a funny. This guy told us he was class clown, and now he came on here and we just had one of the more intimate. I love it because honestly, this is more what I'm open to anything on the podcast. However the conversation goes, but the motivation behind this podcast was conversations like this, like growth-oriented.
Real from the heart.
Yeah, man, just like, I guess what your normal conversations in a barber chair are, which a lot of times they can be almost like a therapy session in a way, you know, like, yeah, bro, so I appreciate you being open like that.
No, I appreciate having me.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I really have one question for you, because
Okay.
I love hearing your answers for this. I'm pretty sure I asked you before, but for your viewers here,
Okay.
aliens, bro.
Aliens.
Taking
okay.
a 180 right here. We're going from heart, sentimental, real shit to aliens.
Okay.
Are we gonna see aliens in our lifetime?
This might not be the most interesting thing to everyone else, but I honestly, I don't want to say I don't believe that they're aliens, but I also don't believe that there's a way to them, or that there's a way for them to get to us.
Now, I don't know if you noticed or not, but the U.S. government actually released last year that aliens exist. The Pentagon came out and said, yes, we've seen aliens, we've dealt with aliens, aliens are real.
Right, so...
Classified documents released. Now you think they're just saying that to make everybody go crazy?
Alright, so...
Bro, they gotta be real. Look at it. Look how big the universe and shit is, man. Like...
Right. I'm gonna pull up a chair and we can talk, finish this pod. Is that weird for us to be sitting on the same couch?
I wanna make it.
Yeah, you wanna hang out? Yeah, just keep your hair down.
Keep it down?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it makes you more like feminine.
No, I was like, huh? Okay.
Just keep your hair down.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. I'll have you re-ask that question, and we're on the couch now. We finished. Chase has an easier haircut. You know, we don't have to do any scissor work on the top. So
That's good though.
But we wanted to finish off the conversation here because this one is a great one, and I personally wanted to dive into this. So ask again with your question.
Yeah. So the question I had. Obviously, we had a real heartfelt conversation here, but I like throwing a quick 180. So, Gino, aliens.
Aliens.
Aliens. Are we going to see aliens in our lifetime?
And for me, it's like absolutely not. And I used to believe otherwise. There's a few reasons why I don't believe we'll see aliens.
I was going to say, previous conversations I've had with you, I thought that you thought like...
That, yeah, because we touched about spirituality and stuff, and as a spiritual person, you believe that the universe is very vast, right? That there's more than just the Milky Way that we're living in. And
I don't know
there's
what vast means.
Vast is big, large.
Not good with big words, guys.
You're supposed to be a podcast host.
I know, but when I want to throw big words at me, I'm like, fuck.
So they say the universe is this massive thing, but science, bro, is very anti-religion, all right? Sure. And that scientists don't really like the idea of religion because you're believing in something that you can't see, okay? So for me to summarize this quickly, why I don't think that there's aliens, okay? One, we've been here for 2,000 years after Christ, however many years beforehand, and we have no documentation given to us other than what the government has recently put on TV now that it's been this big trending thing on TikTok, Instagram, etc. Think about, all right, so if you're a Christian or a Muslim or you're a believer in a God, what does the idea of there being other life forms and other planets do to your belief of that?
So, easy answer. Again, I like how I keep saying easy answer. That's one of those questions, easy answer, right? So, the Bible, for example, right?
Yeah.
God created night and day, created the earth, whatever, right?
Genesis, yes.
Right, but where in the Bible does it say that other beings don't exist on other planets, you know?
Right.
Because the universe is so big. But then again, like you said, scientifically, you can almost bring that back to like the moon landing and stuff, right? Where people are like, oh, the moon landing is not real. So do we really know if outer space is as big as they say? We don't know for sure. But the analogy that I like that my friend Ben just said to me, because we were just talking about aliens the other day on my podcast, he said, word for word, it would be silly to think that aliens don't exist, because it's almost like saying, if you take a spoon and you dip a spoon into the ocean and a shark doesn't come up on your spoon, oh, there's no sharks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's where I do agree with him. That's why I said I believe that there's aliens. I just don't believe that we're going to come in contact with them. So you spoke on Genesis and God saying that he created the heavens and the day. Well, in Genesis 1:8, he talks about let there be the firmament, one that separates the waters above and the waters below. The waters above being the heavens, and then the waters below is the earth. I don't believe, I may get canceled first podcast, but I really truly don't believe that we're on just like this spinning globe in the middle of the galaxy somewhere that collided at the perfect time, that made us tilt on the perfect axis, the perfect degree from the sun.
Oh, the Big Bang, fuck that.
So to me, I believe there's a creator. If there's a creator, everything was built perfectly. I don't believe that we have been to these other planets, like we said. I do believe they're there, and I do believe that there is a chance that God created. God is obsessed with evolution and evolution of heart and spirit, okay? He wants to see what free will will do to someone. He wants to see what just having life will do. Mostly free will here on planet Earth. And to say that he didn't create other species of humans, maybe that have 3 eyes instead of 2, and to see how that advancement is, to see what the best evolution of a human could be. But if they were out there, we would have been in contact by now. Bro, there's just no way. Look at the advancements that we've had. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that there's no way to them, and I also don't believe that we've been out of here. Like, seeing a satellite picture of the moon and telling me that that's real on a television screen is not enough for me to believe that we've been to the moon, or seen these other planets or touched down on them. You know, I believe that we are in a world of spiritual warfare. I believe that we are ran. Most of our world leaders and what we're ran by is a very evil, satanic ways, and I believe that they're scared of Christ. And if you believe that aliens are here and aliens are coming, then why would you believe in a single God or whatnot? You would think potentially the aliens are creators. Who are the creators of them? So I think like all this science and all this, I guess to sum it up, all it really does is destroy that faith, severs it. It makes you question it more. And something I noticed is that they fear Jesus.
More now than ever, too.
Right. You see it just in the mainstream media, like the mockery of the cross, etc. And now you start seeing these Bible prophecies like starting to come true. I just believe that they're trying, that we are on the brink of potentially revelations, and they're trying to confuse people as to what's real and what to believe in instead of turning to our true Savior, which was Christ. But that's just my belief deep in my heart, that doesn't mean that I'm not open to the fact that aliens could come here. But until I see one next to me live in the flesh that isn't like CGI in the sky or something fake like that, like I believe we would have came in contact, and if we haven't, then one of two things: we have no use for them, or they have no use for us.
So I'm going to play off that with 2 questions. Okay. So my first one is, I think that if we have come in contact with aliens, like the government says that aliens exist and everything, I think that they wouldn't really release that 100% cold, like stone cold truth, because bro, like if it was on national news right now, like alien so and so, the world would fucking flip out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, like just think. So my second question here is, right? So a fucking flying saucer lands out right outside the barbershop, right?
Yeah.
Guy walks in here, he's a fucking alien. How are you gonna react to that? I'm gonna shit my pants and I'm gonna run.
Yeah, honestly, I'd probably back against a supporter. I'm like, please don't hurt me. What do you want? What do you need?
What if he's just like, what's up, bro? He's like us, but just like a little bit tall. He's like, what's up, dude?
Honestly, bro, like, what, like, I feel like if an alien came down, you almost can't, like, fear it, though, because how special are you to be the one to encounter it? But that's easy to say without it happening here in person.
I know, right? Until it actually happens.
But yeah, bro, I don't feel like there's a way out of here, bro. I think the only way out of here is death.
Yeah.
I think there's no way out of Earth, bro. I encourage everyone on here to look up Elon Musk's most recent rocket launching, bro. When he sent that last rocket up, bro. And then look up the firmament, bro. And I'm not saying that it's a glass dome that we live in. I believe that it truly is water. And think of the immense pressure of water, the force you have to go all the way through it and up in. I believe we have sent many rockets up to try to bust the firmament, and we have not done that. That's not me trying to be like, you know, someone encouraging here to believe in Jesus or to be Christian. That's just my beliefs. I didn't start believing this because I was Christian. This is just what my soul tells me, and it makes sense, bro. Like, the Bible is the oldest written text. Like, whether you are Christian, Catholic, Muslim, you know, Jewish, atheist, I don't really care. But either way, the Bible is the oldest written text, and it has a lot of truth in it. And there's a lot of things that are prophesizing right now that are happening. And every depiction of the world up until the 1900s was of like a saucer with a dome over it. You look at like Pixar's picture, it's like a dome, and they love mockery, bro. Like, they love to show us what the truth is without telling us. Because, like I said, they're satanic, and Lucifer's doctrine is show them their sins, and as they blindly accept it, you will be rewarded for it. So they show us the truth without telling us. We blindly accept it as followers of Christ, or just, you know, as non-followers of the Luciferians, and the people of the devil get more power. But they have to show that. That's why, you know, Playboy Cardi and Lil Uzi Vert and Sam Smith and Taylor Swift and all these people are coming out with these satanic props on, and the Weeknd's got Satan flashing in the background and stuff, and you're sitting there like, that's like church, bro. Like, we're hand in hand at a concert, drinking, opening up our spirituality, hands up, worshiping this person on stage that really worships demonic things. In their music, they're saying demonic, horrid things, and I just believe that, you know, we're at end times, and that there's false prophets everywhere, and they're trying to lead you away from the truth, away from the light. And I think aliens is a perfect way to do that. I think
it's a good distraction.
I think more than anything, we probably will see a fake alien invasion. Like, all it takes is CGI, put a fake flying saucer, and then shoot from drones. And it's like, if you can't touch it, you can't feel it. It's just like me believing in God. If I can't really prove it, I'm just believing. I just have faith that that's real. Just believing the dude that's paid in the suit reading off the script on the TV screen. So that's my thing. I believe that we have a perfect creator who created this earth perfect. And he doesn't want us to know. You look back at Adam and Eve, he didn't want them to eat the fruit. He wanted you to be naive. So all you do is, when you're naive, you're more pure. That's why when you're a child, you're more pure. You're more pure-hearted. You haven't felt sin. You haven't been broken by the world. You have more faith. You believe what you're told, and you want to do good. And I just, personally, to me, I believe that God created this world for us to be here. I believe we come here to have free will, exercise our free will, and that the only true way out of here is through death. And that's where I think you get like your evil spirits and stuff. Those are like people that are trapped on this realm. Like they didn't make it to heaven. They didn't make it to the next realm. So they're earth dwellers. So that's why you have like evil spirits, and everything to me is like spiritual warfare. You know, like all the negative thoughts, energy, etc. that you're feeling and getting in your life. That's all spiritual warfare. So
hell of an answer, bro. I mean, I think the rapture's coming.
I personally really do, bro. Like
the rapture, it's coming soon, bro.
Like honestly, bro, like I'm not gonna talk about the rapture too much because I'll be canceled.
Yeah, no,
off air, I'll tell you exactly what I think is happening.
It's coming.
But these Bible prophecies are coming. Like, listen, man, if you don't want to believe in the Bible, you don't want to believe in Christ, do yourself one favor and read Revelations.
Yeah.
I mean, Revelations is just a dope story in general, whether you believe it to be true or not. Like, it's a story at the end of the world and someone coming to save it. Like, that's a pretty fire book to read about.
Right?
And why not read it if it could pertain to what could happen here? But there are a lot of things, he says, in an adulterous world and evil generations, they'll seek it for a sign, but there'll be no signs but the stars above, and the shepherd himself, Jesus Christ and stuff. So, I mean, you look at the generations that we're in, it's crazy, bro, and it's hard to really decipher what's good and what's bad. But what they put on the Tell A Vision screen was a different vision.
I like how you said Tell A Vision.
Well, it's facts, bro.
Vision.
Right, and we bought the vision. Albert Pike wrote that in his Third World War. He said that's how it would be formatted. We will destroy the sacred lands. There will be a mutual war which they destroy each other between Israel and Palestine.
Bro, I don't care what side you lean on, left or right, middle, whatever. You cannot believe whatever you're seeing on the Tell A Vision. You know, I like that you say that. I'm going to use that now. Tell A Vision. I don't know where you got it, but it's fucking great.
Bro, because it's just, it really is fact. What does it go back to? Karmic retribution. All these things that I keep telling you, this is why I don't believe that I'm a conspiracy theorist. I believe the people that believe this shit are conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Because you're literally believing what someone is being paid to read off a script and tell you. This stuff that I believe, I've researched for 10 years. I've exhausted my brain. I went down every fucking rabbit hole. I believed in every different religion there is. I've been spiritual. I've been atheist. I've been Christian. You name it. And now here 10 years later, in a spot where the last 2 years I feel like I feel like my purpose is to push what I know in a way as well. That shit's a lie, bro. And like, to me, I just know where it ran. The world wasn't always this evil, bro. The internet is a crazy thing.
The internet kills relationships.
Right.
The TV is meant to brainwash you, bro. Like, yeah, all of it's...
You got your phone in your hand?
Yeah.
Let me see it real quick. Because mine's covered up. Because I don't like having it. Show them right there.
What are we looking at?
On the back of the iPhone. So in Revelations, also...
Oh, the charger?
No, what's on the back of your phone? An apple.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to the apple?
Oh, shit.
It's bit.
Yeah.
And what happened in Genesis and Adam and Eve?
And the apple's bit in the logo.
Yeah. And what happened in Genesis, they bit the forbidden fruit, which gave them the knowledge of the earth that they weren't supposed to know. And what did the internet do?
Gave us the knowledge we weren't supposed to know.
Fucking facts, bro. It destroyed us. And they say in Revelations, the mark of the beast shall be in the palm of their hand. Where does the phone lie all the time? And then he says the second mark will be in the back of their head. And Elon Musk is coming out with these chips to make...
I ain't getting no chips. Fuck the chip.
Same, bro. I won't either. Like, the idea of life isn't to live forever. It's to come here and the fear of death is what makes life so fucking special, as much as it sucks.
I'm petrified of that.
Right, and that's what makes you hold on to every moment and savor it. When times are good, you're grateful for it. And then when they're not, you're hopeful to get out of that place because you're living off from borrowed time. Like, I don't have forever to feel good and do what I want to do. But... that's why, dude, it's all symbolism. We bit the apple. Yeah, I cover mine up, bro. I'll put my sponsor's logo on there.
I like that.
Because I don't fuck with that Satanistic shit, bro. That's like, spiritual warfare is the truest thing, bro. And as a spiritual person, I believe we're all children of God. I just believe that our ancestors have given us different karma throughout time. I'm not the type of person that believes that your karma is like an instant thing. Like you go flip someone off, you do someone bad, something bad's gonna happen to you tomorrow. I think that's generational stuff. It's passed down to your family blood and your spiritual. I believe we have spiritual families, people we reincarnate with. That's why we link up with certain people, and it's like, yo, I've known him my whole life. Like Jay sitting over there, like I believe he's in my soul family. Like no matter where I die, where we go to next, I know we're going to be there together. We might not look the same. I might not be Gino. We might not be Jay. We might not look like this, but I'll know it's him. It'll be a familiar thing. That's why when we met for the first time, I knew yes, this is a relationship I needed. This is someone who's going to be pivotal in my life.
Shout out Jay.
Yeah, shout out Jay Barber. But I believe that we all have these soul families and whatnot that we come back here with. I feel like that's a knowing. So we reincarnate with certain people. So this is what I was saying. Like, I feel like some people are just more sensitive to it and more heightened to it. And I say this in the most humble way. Like I just feel blessed by Christ that He's given me the ability to have a strong connection with Him. And I'm not comparing my connection with anyone else's because that's just not. It's not what I'm here to do, but I've been blessed enough to where I know Christ put me here as I'm a man of influence. I influence people around. As I go, people follow. It's been that way my entire life. So I can either pick the people up around me or I can lower them. And I've seen that directly in owning this barbershop, with having a family, etc. And
talking over your son.
Facts.
I saw that too.
Right, that was fire.
When the wife's not home.
Yeah, when the wife's not home, we roughhouse hard. She doesn't like that.
You do the WWE shit too.
Yeah, yeah. But my son has no choice but to be tough.
I love it.
He's been getting beat up since he came out.
What a stud.
But yeah, bro, I think this was such a fire talk.
Yeah, me too. This went all over the place. I wasn't even very prepared for it, like you asked me to, but I think we fucking took it and ran.
I wasn't prepared at all. I read like a few questions, but like that's another thing too. Like I guess going back into like the spirituality or just like feeling like being a child of Christ. I feel like all things are led naturally by Him, and when you tap into that, there's a knowing, and that's really what I wanted to close this out with is that all things that we talk about have tied back to it. And that's how I know that this whole conversation's been led through our God, like through the greatest person and deity to ever live that created this perfect earth that we're in. He led this conversation because they all lead back to the same thing, and that's where we were saying that there isn't. Trying to word this correctly. I don't think there's a right or wrong for anyone, but I think once you become more in alignment with your spirituality and with your Holy Spirit, there is a sense of knowing without proof, and that brings peace. And then peace leads to more sound decisions, and more sound decisions leads to a happier life, a more fruitful life, and everything just as it goes, follows one another for the positive.
Falls into place.
Facts.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate you coming on today, bro.
I love you, bro. I love you too. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
So I appreciate you guys tuning in. This was our first official episode of Cutting Edge Podcast. For more, you can follow me at Gino Brancotti on Instagram and give my man Chase Schurga a follow and Choo Choo Podcast. We thank y'all for coming and God bless.
Thanks for having me, boys.